So RF Kennedy Jr. was just asked the question of what he personally thinks about President Trump. And I was so surprised by this. And I think so many people will be surprised by this as well. And I think it's such a feel good story. So I'm so excited to share this. And another thing I wanted to share was this beautiful moment that was captured with Chris Cuomo after President Trump essentially went through such a horrendous event this past weekend, and I think it's such a turning point in journalism. So I really want to shed some light on that, as well as shed some light on this President Trump doing this live town hall, because he spends some time talking about when President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris reached out to him, and I just think this is such. It was so it was so eye-opening to see these words come out of President Trump, because some people in his audience were already starting to boo, but he was like, "No." Like, almost as if he's saying, "Let's leave that in the past and let's create a new future." So that's what I love. So let's get into all this, starting with RF Kennedy Jr. Check this out.
For many years, on two occasions, I sued him. Or he was trying to build golf courses up in the New York City reservoir watershed. And I sued him successfully to stop that. And at one point, my wife at that time had been trying to find she wanted to go to Palm Beach for the weekend to see my mom over Easter. And I said, I want to buy tickets for all the kids. And she said, what if I find a free ride? And I said, okay.
Oh, well.
I didn't think she was going to do it. But then she said, I found a free ride. And I said, who? And she said, Donald Trump. And I said, I'm suing him. And she said, he told me he knows you're suing him, but it's okay anyway.
And what a brief moment of a character display, where President Trump is like, "I know you're suing me. I don't care. Let me help you out. I can help you out even if we disagree." That's powerful.
And we ended up flying down with them, and I had a great time. I still sued him. But you know what? After the night that he called me after he got shot, and Butler, one of the first things he said to me, he said, are you a religious person? And I said, well, I have a deep belief in God and a spirituality, which is the central organizing force in my life. And he said, I think I believe in that too now. And
Something that stuck out to me in that little brief experience was there's so much evidence that suggests that President Trump, by almost many measures, is someone who is a very faith-oriented person. Okay, but even then, even still being someone who is a faith-oriented person, something extravagant could happen to them that actually exposes new nerves, that gives you such a more astounding enlightenment towards Jesus and your relationship with God. And I just think that's really, really powerful. Like, you even see this in, like, throughout the scriptures, right? Like, what comes to mind right now is like Peter, after spending so much time with Jesus, he still went on to deny him, right? Thomas, after spending all that time with Jesus, still went on to doubt him. And at the end of the day, like, we are not perfect people. We have our doubts, we have our insecurities, we have these anxieties that live through our day-to-day lives, but there are still moments where we almost need to be convinced again that Jesus is real and that God is real. So I think that's really, really powerful, and I thought that was a really beautiful moment. Now, another beautiful moment, which I thought was so powerful. When I saw this, I was thinking, "Oh my gosh, things are changing. How the media is communicating is changing. How journalists are communicating might be changing." And you could argue that, oh, this is just one person. But that's how things start. That's how revolutions start. It's one person until it's two. It's two people until it's three. So I thought this was really fascinating. Look at Chris Cuomo talk about President Trump. Look at this.
What is going on with us? I don't get it. That's why I reached out to Trump. I wanted to just say, listen, I'm really sorry that this is going on and it's being dealt with this way. Not because I'm in favor of his politics or what he says. I criticize him all the time. That's my job, and he deserves it. But he doesn't deserve this.
Come on.
A guy pointing an AK-47 at him while he's playing golf? And we take solace in the fact that the guy didn't get any rounds off. That does not work for me. If I had been through what that guy's been through in the last 2 months, you would not know where I am. You would never see me on TV again. No way I would do that. I don't know how he does it. He's got kids, they're adults, but he's got grandkids. He's got a wife. People giving crap to Melania Trump, worrying about whether or not there was a plot around his husband. How could she not? I don't think she's right, but I totally get why she feels that way, and people mock her.
Wow.
And then her husband has a guy pointed with an AK-47. Where are those people apologizing? That's what it's time for. I should not have come at you, Melania Trump, for suggesting that maybe there was something more afoot. I get your paranoia. I get your feelings. You have a right to that. There's nothing wrong with saying that, with being a basic, decent human being. It has gotten too out of control, too far from where we need to be and how we need to be. And I don't know what to do about it. I don't know.
Wow. I love this for so many reasons. For one, he says very clearly that he is not in agreement with President Trump on everything, but he is in complete disgust on how the media treats him, how we are so absurdly divided because of this, and how he's demanding that people actually apologize to or the mainstream media actually apologizes for partly creating this. And I know that's kind of a heavy topic and a lot of people disagree with that, but I got to really hand it to Chris Cuomo here. I feel like he's having a moment here where he's just being so enlightened by by the tragedy that this election has brought. And I love how he was even displaying so much empathy and extending it towards Melania. Like, you know what? I disagree, but I understand why you feel this pain. And I think we need that so desperately here. I remember in one of my favorite communicators, he said that one of the critical like one critical genius is empathy. And I think about that a lot. There's a genius to empathy. There is a genius to compassion. There is a genius to being able to apologize, to being able to say, you know what, I disagree. I disagree that I maybe disagree in how this happened, but I absolutely disagree that that is too far, that that shouldn't have happened, that you should not have had that experience. And I just think that's so touching. So I'm really grateful to see Chris Cuomo step out of his comfort zone and have this critical conversation. And again, this is all going to be linked up. This was shared yesterday, but it already has over 500,000, almost 500,000 views. And I thought that was great. And again, earlier in this video, I said that we might have seen a turning point with President Trump in how he's communicating about other candidates. And look at this really touching moment that was shared. I saw this from Benny Johnson. The title was "Wow." President Trump tells the town hall that both Biden and Kamala gave him a phone call after the second assassination attempt. It's a little deeper than that, but look at this.
And I have to say that President Biden called me yesterday. It was very nice. We had a very nice conversation. I appreciated that he called about, what happened the other day. And he says, he's committed. He's committed. No, and today, a little while ago, I got a very nice call from Kamala. No.
See that? Right? So right now to about Biden, he was saying someone in the audience was kind of being a little they had some critiques, and again, they had more critiques about Kamala, but he said no. It was like he was denouncing it in this moment. Look at this. Guys.
He's committed. No, and today, a little while ago, I got a very nice call from Kamala. No, it was very nice.
No, it was very, very nice. He is in disagreement with so many people in his audience. And you know what I see? I see President Trump demanding that the conversation be elevated in this arena. That's what I'm seeing, and that's what I'm applauding. Let's keep going.
It was very nice. It was very, very nice, and we appreciate that. But we have to take back our country. We have to win.
See, there we go. So he continues on, but I love that moment. I love that moment. He's still saying, like, I want to win. We're going to beat her. Make America great again. That's still very much at his core. But do you see his posture here? Instead of letting that person's no from the audience say, like, yeah, I agree with you. No, they're bad. Right, Comrade Kamala. He could have said that, but instead he chose to level up, or he increased the quality of the conversation that he was having and almost demanded more out of that audience as well. And I just think that is absolutely powerful. And speaking of Kamala Harris, we actually saw a new interview that was shared today. Now, I have not seen this entire thing. Okay? So, I want to be careful about what I talk about here, because obviously it's a 48-minute conversation. Maybe we'll talk about this tomorrow. But what I have seen is I've seen the first 7 minutes or so, and honestly, I have mixed feelings so far, but I want to share this quick 30-second clip because it's not strong, not a strong start at all, but check this out.
Is the price of groceries still too high? Yes. Do we have more work to do? Yes. And I will tell you, I do believe that I offer a new generation of leadership for our country that is about, in particular, turning the page on an era that sadly has shown us attempts by some to incite fear, to create division in our country.
So the person who shared this was Trump War Room, and they were saying that she kind of got into this whole, or actually no, they didn't say that, but the person that I saw reshare this was Benny Johnson, and he was saying that she kind of slips into this word salad again. And to that, I would say you do see it, where you see her go into this kind of rehearsed response, and it is definitely a weakness on Kamala. But the original question, I guess I'll play the question real quick. Check this out. I do want to give an entire reaction to this, but obviously I need to watch it first to take my really digest everything before I communicate about it. But this is the question that she was supposed to be answering.
Than they were 4 years ago. Whether or not, a question that has been asked of you and everybody that's on the Democratic side is whether or not voters are better off now than they were 4 years ago. Are they better off now than they were 4 years ago?
So when we came into, well, first of all, let me just say it is good to be with the National Association of Black Journalists, and I thank you for the work you do and that your members do every day. It is very important that we ensure that this organization and your members always have the resources and the platforms to deliver the voices that must be heard. So I thank you for hosting me today. 4 years ago, when we came in during.
So that was the question, and there's that little introduction. This is going to be linked up, but It takes her about, I think, 3 minutes before she actually gets to this little aspect of it. But what I do think is interesting is she does this thing where she uh, again she talks in story, right? She talks in story, she talks in almost metaphors, and then you see her slip into these rehearsed responses that we saw during the debate, that we saw in her other previous interviews. So I wasn't too impressed in the beginning, but again, I'll refrain some of my opinions so I actually watch the full interview. But I encourage you guys, if you want to watch it before me, check it out. But I'm pretty sure we're gonna have that conversation tomorrow. So now the last thing I want to mention, I don't even know if I should get into this. Should I? Okay. All right. I'll talk about this very lightly. But there is this creator. His name is Harry Sisson. And oh my goodness, I I really want to be careful of how I communicate with this person or about this person. Again, I do not agree with many of the things that he says, but I just take it. Like he has his own opinion, I have mine. It's totally fine. There's no need to, hate or be mean or say anything nasty about the other person. But to me, what went too far was, look at this tweet. This was on June 18th with Harry Sisson. Down here, he wrote, "Yep, contrary to wild theories, I don't get paid to post every day and to advocate for Biden. I believe in him and in his administration." Okay, that's great, right? But he got community noted. And we have been knowing this. I've had this conversation here before. Like, Harry Sisson has very clearly been paid for by the DNC, which is tragic, but I digress. And the community note says, according to FEC records, Harry is paid for social media consulting by both Democracy Defend Action and Media's Touch. And according to his LinkedIn, Harry is also represented by Palette Management, which receives funds from the DNC. Whoops. I am so sorry. That's how you know these are all real and uncut, though. And look at this. So there was also this really popular influencer, YouTuber, Instagram guy. His name is Bryce Hall, and he makes a really wild post. And he says, "Loser of our boxing match donates $1 million to the opposing campaign. What you think?" Harry J. Sisson. And he says, "You're too dumb." And Harry responds with saying, "You're too dumb to know that would be an illegal contribution, idiot." Wow, Harry, out here calling people idiots. That's not cool at all. But let's move forward. And Bryce responds saying, "I'm guessing you've never heard of a PAC? Question mark. You can donate as much as you want." Handshake. "If you can't afford the 1 million, you can just put what the DNC has paid you towards Trump if you lose." And look at this. Look at all these receipts. All of these receipts. Democracy Defense Action. 1,000, 7 grand, 5 grand, 4 grand, 2 grand. I've also seen screenshots of him receiving over like $250,000. It is wild. Harry responds with, and this is what's really crazy to me. Harry responds with saying, "Prove I've taken as much as a penny from the Democratic Party, either directly or indirectly, and I'll box you this week." Okay? Really, he is so clear. If you can't donate 10K to Kamala Harris's PAC, deal? Okay? All right? And look at this. He says either directly or indirectly. And look at this community note here. Again, he got community hit again. According to FEC records, Harry is paid for social media consulting by both Democracy Defense Action and Media's Touch. And according to his LinkedIn, he's also represented by Palette Media. I'm pretty sure Palette Management is just his company that he started. And look at how he responds. Like, Bryce says, "This is so easy. Look at these." He says, "These two screenshots show the DNC paying Palette Media $210,000, an absurd amount of money. Your LinkedIn profile says you work for Palette Management. And look, you haven't been directly paid by the DNC, but you have been directly paid a collective total of $19,000 from Media's Touch and their Democracy Defense Action PAC in 2022 and 2023. The other screenshot even shows you and your boyfriend with pallet management email addresses. This counts as you being paid indirectly by the DNC. So when are you free for the da 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 da? And these are all these screenshots. Again, NYU, pallet management, this is his LinkedIn page, very clear. This is his old, this is an old screenshot where he included pallet management. All right, this is the other person he was talking about. We've shared these screenshots on this channel before, but we've never really done a deep dive like this. But, and look at this. Like, I believe this is the last time he's actually, Harry didn't respond. Harry didn't respond at all. Now he's just staying quiet. He's staying silent. He's not actually owning up to what he was asked. He was so clear, either directly or indirectly. And I'll box you this week. And again, this isn't about boxing. This is about accountability, right? And this is also about just kind of the disappointment that I feel that this person is very clearly taking money from the DNC, and he's speaking to essentially millions of people. His perspective that it may or may not even be his, because at the end of the day, he's been paid off. And this guy is speaking to so many tens of thousands of people every day, probably millions if you include TikTok. But this guy's influence and reach is so powerful. And what I'm disappointed of is that none of these people know that he's actually been paid, that these opinions that he has might not actually,
Donald Trump.
but they might actually been, he might actually just been prompted. And isn't that just disappointing? Don't you just feel a bit nasty knowing that? Like when I heard that, because before that, I actually was a consumer of Harry Sisson's content. I consume, I consume, there's actually this great story of, I was watching one of his videos and, my fiance walks in and she's like, why are you watching this guy? And I told her, like, well, because I disagree with him, and I listen and watch people I disagree with, because if you don't watch or listen to people who you disagree with, then you'll never understand their worldview, and you'll never understand their experiences, and then you'll never learn how to communicate with them. So to me, I listen to people who are on the far left and on the far right, and everyone in between, just because I think that's how I've made it part of my consumption habit to do that, because I think it's important. And I think that's why I have somewhat of a moderate view on things. So that's all I wanted to do. And obviously Harry is not moderate at all. He has very far left ideologies and views. And again, like, not that it's wrong, not that I'm criticizing that at all. What I'm criticizing is the fact that he's almost dodging responsibility here, and he's lying about it. He's saying that I don't get paid to post every day and to advocate for Biden. And maybe this is actually a really interesting vernacular. Maybe he's saying I don't get paid to post every day. Maybe he just doesn't mean every day. Maybe he does get paid every month to actually post and advocate for Biden Harris. There's so many ways that he could have said this and not and have and be telling and have been telling the truth. So, but to me, even if this is like, even if he's not explicitly lying, he absolutely is misleading people. And I'm disappointed by that. I really am. So yeah, that's the whole video. I know I wasn't going to include this. I wanted this to be its own separate video, but I kind of just kept recording. But yeah, let me know what you think about all the conversations that we had today. I know we kind of jumped all over the place. We started with RFK Jr. talking about his personal experience with Trump and suing him and still kind of liking him. And then we saw Chris Cuomo do this really radical heart shift, and also kind of lead the way for other journalists to, I believe, do the same. And we also saw President Trump actually elevate the conversation, or the quality of conversation that he was having essentially with his supporters in this town hall, which I thought was beautiful. We also had a quick kind of glimpse. We didn't really go into this again. Like, I haven't seen this video. I can't really speak too much on it. I'd rather much prefer everyone else to watch it. This just came out just a couple hours ago, so I haven't really formed a full opinion on this. But maybe tomorrow I'll actually watch this entire video and then come back with some key takeaways. So if you want to look forward to that, you absolutely can. And then finally, we talked about Harry Sisson. Okay, so let me know what you think about these conversations, or at least in particular with regarding Harry Sisson, regarding this the money that he's taken from the Biden Harris campaign to actually advocate and push these perspectives and worldviews forward, and for him to do this to the millions of people that he has reached thus far. So let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about all these conversations. I'm so glad to be here and share this experience with you guys. And again, it's always such a gift to do this. So I just want to say thank you for being here with me. I love to do this. I feel like it's a privilege to do this with you guys. So I just want to say thank you. Like, everyone has such limited time in their day. Everyone has such limited time here on Earth. So to get to do this with you guys is just a gift. And I just want to say thank you so much. So let me know what you think about the conversations that we had here today. And let's just elevate the conversation in the comments like we always do. Okay? So thank you so much, and I will see you all tomorrow. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching and listening. I appreciate your time so much, and I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to support what we're building here, please like and subscribe. It means a lot, and it really helps us out. And if you want to see even more content from me, make sure to follow me on Instagram. I'm going to be sharing a lot more on there. Thank you so much. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time.